Welcome back, guys. We are in the midst of the GreenWings up against the Sharks, and on the backs of this guy, and a little bit of help from their friends, the GreenWings, Kuzan and the Sharks were able to take their first game of the series, leaving us at 2-1 in favor of Jin Air. But at this point, Jin Air have shown a bunch of weaknesses. The Sharks were able to pick a bunch of champions that they're comfortable with and actually pilot it to a win. And I don't think it's out of the question that the Sharks could win another one. I really want to see which side they selected as well.
And this generational battle of favorite sons of mid lane for Jin Air. Kuzan finds one counterpunch to the 2-0 that Jin Air had quickly opened up, and now we're in at game number 4. In this game, ES Sharks have the side selection, and like Papa Smithy said, they've chosen red. I really like this choice because it gives them more guarantees that they can leverage the greater amount of counter picks on the red side to get good lane matchups for Kuzan in particular, but Jisu to some degree as well. Find that Ashe Tahm Kench, Varus Tahm Kench lane for the bot lane and deprioritize light GuGer. That's how I think ES Sharks forces it to a best of 1.
And currently there are a bunch of picks that you kind of have to go ahead and ban. And interestingly enough, we haven't seen Ryze or Sylas by the side of the Sharks because Jin Air, the last time around when this happened, they banned out Sylas for them. Going to take that off the board.
So we have to take stock of what is available. Jarvan available, Lucian available, and Lucian snap grabbed by Jin Air. They don't want to deal with the Kuzan flex. Now Kuzan plays a lot of other eclectic flicks in the mid lane from his long career now as a pro player. Vladimir is usually a Kuzan pick, but Jisu has played it in this tournament. He plays Lissandra, that one is banned away. The LeBlanc is another big one for him and could be something that he returns to in this game. So we'll see if it's a Kuzan pick or a meta pick. Because speaking of meta picks, how about a strong bot lane like Varus Tahm Kench?
How about 4 games of Tahm? Sir Thomas Kench doesn't waste any time. He's always out here doing his job. And it's just so good. I mean, we used to even see it first pick from time to time, but the Lucian, too much priority. And as you mentioned, Varus Tahm Kench is going to be the selection.
The other reason why the Lucian first pick makes a lot of sense is that Kuzan's other go-to recently has been Corki. And when the Lucian is there as a champion, as Kuzan well knows, great pick into the mid lane Corki. Loves his hovers. He's definitely a bit of a memer and gives the Cloud Templar a shout out that Bang was famous for. He was never going to lock it.
Yeah, not on this patch, not on the next one.
We didn't get beyond in the promotion tournament, so sadly Revenger, I think is known as now.
Yeah.
Not there to play a Mumu, and the Jarvan is left open for a long time, but the Jarvan priority hasn't really paid off that much this tournament, so at the end of the day, probably fine.
Now, the Akali is left up again, so they get a very strong bot lane, and they get Akali for Jisu in this game, so see that things are going very well already.
And you get to dump bans into just Akali matchups because Jin Air need 2 of them. So, a lot of options here. ES Sharks were loving that red side priority, so good stuff from them there. Taking away the cannon, one of those safe blind picks. I don't think they'll go the way of banning Aatrox, but it's something you can consider. Want to ban flexible solo lanes that you can easily pick. I guess you could ban Zoe if you really wanted to on this side as a mid laner, but really safety first blind picks what ES Sharks want to lock out.
And no jungler just yet for Catch. See if maybe they go for Olaf Gragas or something like that, force him to play something else. We already saw the Lee Sin as well, but that ended up in a loss.
I think you're happiest if he's on the Lee Sin, so if that is your train of thought, then Gragas is probably the way to go. There is the Aatrox that we were wondering about, so gets riskier from here. I feel like Lindarang will be frisky enough to play a Lucian top side, so maybe that's a mind game you could play into. But that would be good early, and then a bit of a struggle post-Gunblade. Jin Air focusing on their final ban. Do they ban the Gragas? The Catch played fine on in the previous game. The damage dealt was impressive, and they say, well, you're going to have a lot of AP damage. We'll leave up the Gragas. That's a little bit bold, given the playstyle we've seen so far.
You can see the LeBlanc, actually.
This would be holding on to jungle for final pick. That's interesting. They will lock in Kuzan's LeBlanc. One to be hyped about. Lane assignments are clear. Jin Air, you don't need to go for flex picks. You just need winning lanes. You need to beat LeBlanc mid and beat Akali top. Corki is what a lot of mid laners will take into this matchup. The GP at the start of the season wasn't doing so well at outlasting Akali, but moment Sterix is finished, you at least have breathing room in the matchup. Hexdrinker can also be considered. They will go the GP, so definitely not a lane dominant choice against, we assume, the Akali on the top side. They take the Vladimir. Okay, yeah. So
snapped up.
You could play with lane assignments. You could try to farm out in the mid lane against a LeBlanc. It doesn't sound great, but you can consider it. Lineup from Jin Air has no true tank, is on the squishier side. Catch has been stretched and may not want to go Gragas for AP overload reasons. The Kha'Zix is definitely on the bolder side, can be turned around on and pops like a weasel in team fights to the Vladimir AoE. However, they go onto the Kha'Zix and say, let's get this game done and dusted pre-third.
I like how Kha'Zix nowadays gets, well, not a roar, but a astonished gasp from the crowd. I remember when Kha'Zix was around all the time, and especially when he was going Moby Boots and could just fly in and out of the brushes like he didn't exist in the jungle. So he was invisible the whole time. But yeah, definitely not a pick you see super often nowadays, and certainly was expected, at least for the crowd here. Unexpected.
It's a fun one. At the end of the day, as you say, the Kha'Zix sometimes food. Whatever's new is golden. The bot lane matchup is old, and I love it for the Varus, Tahm, Kench, unless they really misplay at level 1, whether it's losing the level 2 advantage and then having to hold off for a long time, or playing as if they have Devour before they've skilled it. Otherwise, lots of good times for Varus, Tahm, Kench. Mid lane and top lane are not usually what you see into the opponents when you have double count pick open, but it heralds really good times. The good times will roll for Jin Air in the late game, especially around those solo laners, whatever the bot lane matchup is, but getting there will be a bit more tricky, and if Catch gets going, one rotation on this Warrior Enchant Kha'Zix could be real.
They have a lot of these champs that can be quite good after 1 or 2 items and can really get things going in the mid-game. I suppose Jin Air doesn't believe that they can actually pilot it to success and actually punish them for their later game draft. So will be interesting to see what happens here in game number 4. The Sharks are finally getting some fans on their side.
Finally something to cheer about. They won a damn game, Valdez. And here we are into the 4th game of the night. Sweeper start, but the sweeper was used earlier. Or at least it was switched to and thus isn't available, so they don't know they've been spotted. Information advantage goes the way of ES Sharks.
I think the LeBlanc might have seen them passing by, but would have been surprised if they didn't see her. But you can see what happens afterwards. A Poro and 2 wards in the enemy blue buff. 2 Poros. Okay, 3 Poros. We're just counting Poros now.
It feels like we're doing a sellout moment for the Riot store with all those Poros. They even have this, look at that sexy ward they have, just out of range of the mid lane turret. I haven't seen wards like that since the lane swap days. That's cool to see. Problem ES Sharks have is that the ES Sharks have a lot of information. You see how Jin Air are facing this. They're actually going to re-invade. So Jin Air had the vision disadvantage because they had aggressive vision but no idea what ES Sharks wards were. So they kind of have to play starting on the enemy blue side. Otherwise they don't know if they just get collapsed on at their own side. But Catch is further ahead of this, trying to be on the top side. So Catch wanted to just start red and go and pass straight on to the enemy blue, but he tried to get a bonus camp. So this is lane swap analysis. It feels like Crepo should be here talking about this, and the reason why I say that is that the way it used to be, right, when you had lane swaps like this, is teams would try to get the greedy camp before the vertical jungling started and just get one camp bonus. Instead, that doesn't happen. As a bot lane, we talked about the level 1 Valdez.
Oh boy, you said it, Papa Smithy. He's going to have to flash and get the heal from the Tahm Kench. And they just walked right at him. Devour not available.
Yeah, Varus Tahm Kench, god tier from level 2 onwards. Does suck if you get to lane a little bit late. And also when you don't play to it. And they're looking for a turret dive on level 1. Tahm Kench and Varus. Oh boy, the see your death moment is so real.
Now, Tahm Kench does have the flash, but no Devour still.
Here we go.
As he's level 1, we're
Can
going for light. That's who we want. They land the Q, and Nova's tanking it up as easy as you'd like. GuGer gets Devour, but finally he dies halfway through the Devour, and they're not done yet. Nova's gonna try to sacrifice his life, ends up going down. The TP does come in from the side of the Varus, but they trade the 2 for 1.
And it's a huge worth because Tahm Kench gets the answer. Who cares? It's not the enemy AD carry. Really nice play from Jin Air, and it's such a surreal moment because Jin Air actually had fewer options. They had to play around the area they invaded because they didn't have defensive vision. So again, think back to lane swaps. You'd always put down your wards in the defensive way, then put down aggressive wards, and then try to gauge the scenario. All Jin Air had was aggressive vision on the enemy blue side jungle. So from there, Catch looks for the bonus camp, gets chased out of the bot side jungle. There's no way Catch is going to be here for a counter gank. In fact, he's spotted on the ward as this play happens. So while there's no way he should be there, they also know he isn't there. And that double whammy means, hey, welcome yourself to a fed Lucian really early.
He's feeling pretty good. Funnily enough, Light was able to get down there and actually is ahead in CS. I mean, it's pushing into Lucian right now. Take a look at the runes here. It's triple electrocute versus double electrocute. Actually, electrocute Vlad does come in this game. Plus ignite, so you know that he's looking to battle.
Double longsword first back compared to Fairy Charm. It's going to have to be your lucky charm, Varus, and you're going to need a lot of help from your other laners to make something happen here. Because now, if we come back to what we were saying, we're kind of worried that, you know, Grace and Lindarang would eventually get to a spot, but might actually be smarting in some early trades. And then bot lane, Varus Tahm Kench from level 2 onwards should have kind of the good times roll. Instead, Lucian Braum's doing what it says on the tin, which is blind pick this lane and get kills in the lane. They're ahead already. The gold is coming in already, and if the scaling's there and the bot lane's going better than expected, lets you know that suddenly, yes, Sharks, they need to make the next 2 or 3 moves work. Otherwise, the pain train might be a Jin Air collab.
See how aggressive they're getting. Light not necessarily able to use that range advantage to his advantage down there. This is going to be fantastic as well. The Infernal Drake, the first one of the game, they're going to have a lot of priority down there. It'll be interesting to see how the mid lane goes. You can see already the Vlad is ahead. And Seas is back. Try to take some of these camps once again. Oh, that sucks.
You hate to see it.
That is the worst feeling of the jungle.
The Catch is like, oh, I was back here to get... Oh. Walks up anyways.
Thought he could burst it.
Yep.
Those claws don't do enough damage yet.
You do worry this is going to be ye old farming Kha'Zix. Power
Not
farms.
the ye old.
In inverted commas, his jungle. Considers buying a nerfed Tiamat to power farm harder. And he might be bug splattered very soon.
He just got his smite back, wants to sniperino it, but actually C's got it. Emo plate goes down. And Grace is continuing to do pretty well in this mid lane.
And if Kha'Zix is being battle warded, Vladimir is like, well, I get hurt by LeBlanc more than I'm healing right now. That'll change. GP doing his thing. Things are comfort. The Jin Air comfort food is currently being chomped on. And we need to see Catch pull off something crazy, and that's just not Catch. He's much more of a standard jungler. A pathing jungler on Kha'Zix with good, strong lanes. It works pretty well. Strong lanes are there, but the advantages aren't, and suddenly Infernal's being soloed down by the Jarvan.
don't worry, Catch got Agatha over here. The blue Braum, of course. And Danny will go. Will this Infernal, what's the next one? How about a second Infernal for that bottom lane that's doing really well? This was the game for Jin Air to really solidify in everybody's minds that they are the team that is better and deserves to be in the LCK. They could do it. I'm still reluctant to say that they will do it in the late game because they haven't proven that yet.
You know, it is a battle for 10 spots, so you're allowed to have very reserved praise. Sometimes you want to be like, this is the greatest game of all time, but this is not that day. This is the day for qualifying for the LCK. It's for, you know, fulfilling half the promise of your draft, or maybe a little bit more than half is kind of what we've been used to. Could be 10 games over the course of what ended up being the Challengers final 2 days ago, and a 5-game series here for Jin Air. What did we say all the way through LCK Spring? The difference between Jin Air and Challengers kind of being that big. We are getting the confirmation in this series, but so far, this duo has been a big reason they're doing well.
Mr. Devour might have been down from earlier, but Light's super low once again.
Here we go.
I have to imagine they'll have it for the
They
next
know the
one.
weep is
okay.
Yeah, they know the ward is being swept, so that's how they know.
The weep.
Yeah, I ended up saying weep.
Close. You're very close to weep.
Shout out to all the weeps in chat, and shout out to Light, who kind of has to give up a lot of CS.
He's doing well other than that, and you can see that level 6 Catch is going to spank C's and say get out of here.
Root has the tools to do some spanking, but doesn't have a CS lead. He's been focusing on pushing, but only has 1 turret plate, so the moment that Jarvan full backs, kind of the ruse is up and the bot side. We're all back away, and these are the better times that Varus, Tahm, Kench were waiting for.
Look at Catch going all the way deep. Red buff is there. As flag comes in and spots it here. C's not going to let this one go down without a fight. Actually trying to burst down Catch here, who has to use his ultimate just to get away. So C's will take that red buff for himself.
Not the best tidings that Kha'Zix can't deal with a tank Jarvan, but his bot lane was backing, and his bot lane's back timing was the bonus, so stealing the red buff was the cherry on top. That wasn't going to be possible. Backs away after that. Still waiting for that first kill involvement. Don't know how many Kha'Zixes that went 0-0-0 at 10 minutes 1 in competitive play. Probably not many.
It's a good stat, actually, if you think about it. It would be hard to actually find.
I can think of one ambition game where I think it was like a Worlds qualifier where he got nothing doing and just power farmed on Kha'Zix, and then eventually got some really big picks around 35 minutes and the game ended. So maybe it's happened once or twice, but it's certainly not a common occurrence. And then, like we say, how do you not get Wombo AoE to death by this Jin Air comp? Best of luck.
Well, we can have some solo kills instead, as the barrel is not going to land. Oh, he flashed too late. Oh! But a knock-up, and he slashes him to death with the sword. There you have it. Z's in perfect position to shut down Jisu.
Exactly. You think you know the way it's going. There's a jump scare. This is like some sort of horror film. If you're Jisu, you did all the work, you bided all your time, and there's the prince straight over the wall to save the gangplank.
Z's is actually really good, man.
I know!
He's actually quite good. He's probably the MVP of this one. Red buff here for Catch as Z's knows his ranges as well. He says, no, I'm not going to fight you alone, isolated. See you later.
This series reminds me of Crash, actually. There was a time when Crash debuted in Longzhu as a young jungler, and he was, Monty and Doa called him the best good-bad jungler or bad-good jungler, if you know what I mean. And I think we have our new vote. And what you can tell about those is that there's real promise about this player. He still makes mistakes.
Oh, man.
His play around the,
you read the flash.
The double Elder last game, that was bad. But this is really good. And on the whole today, the good has dwarfed the bad.
That it has. Now, with the timings here, and the Infernal coming up, Catch actually pushed the Jarvan away, so he said, hey, I can get this Rift Herald. So nice timing by Catch.
this bot lane turret. Fully evacuated, and you can't just Abyssal Voyage in with their lack of map control, so another plate. 3 plates in the bot lane, only 1 other plate taken, but importantly, it's GP's plate in the top side, so 4 plates to 0 when we love Jin Air scaling as the game goes on.
Priority and push in the bot lane continues. They're actually going for a kill here, or at least trying to really discourage them from fighting. As Rift Herald comes down, Cannon Barrage is not available. Lindarang might have a bit of trouble here. Will they try to go for him? Looks like the answer is no.
That's actually a pretty big mistake from the Sharks. They jam it down because they're worried about taking too long, and actually Akali didn't walk up, so all the gold went to Kha'Zix. You want to get the Gunblade faster at minimum, and now bot lane, it's a party!
Double flash available, but it's 4 versus 2. Big knock up on a GuGer. Nova just tanking it up for so long, and that's going to be enough damage to take him out. Lindarang here is going to be fine, and that's a double kill now to root in the bot lane.
It is definitely the party that was promised, a pajama party, it seems. Now, Nova was a little bit too bold and took too many turret shots, so he doesn't get to play anymore. But otherwise, Jin Air makes the smart map movement. Was the execution perfect? No, it's the promotion tournament, but was the idea perfect? Oh, yes.
They seem to have a good idea of when to hop on pop in that bot lane. He got the cannon there, that was good. But it's also double Infernal now at 13 minutes with a 3rd Infernal coming in 4 minutes. And this bottom lane is Jin Air's, so you would have to imagine they get it again.
So why is this a perfect play? With 5 members, you have enough ability to reset aggro that you'll be fine, and you have the Cannon Barrage to blow up the minion wave in top side, so you can make the global play that GP should be picked for. Nova should have taken 1 less turret shot. Probably someone dies eventually, though, because people got a little bit low. But overall, Jin Air play that pretty damn well. And ES Sharks didn't give even a share of the gold on the charge to Jisu. So while the Gunblade is done, it should be Gunbladed more. It's now only Gunblade.
Gunblade and a tome. No boots. You will see. She's very slippery, but no boots just yet. Maybe that would have been the extra gold that could have gone into her pockets. But either way, still waiting on this one. She's doing well otherwise. About 30 CS up on the GP, which you would expect. Take a look at the plates here. 1 extra one goes the way of Jin Air. And so much gold once again is on to Root, who really doesn't care about this bottom lane. He sees them. He goes in.
And that is a man, you know, I can respect. Reminds me of Teddy's games, where he knew that he could carry, he just wasn't sure how it would all come together in a team game. So Root scoots forward. He's got that nice early game. He once again has a casual 3 kills in laning phase to trade up upon. They push up, and while Sharks have the better tools to utilize right now, they're behind in gold, they're behind double Infernal. And what about a 3rd Infernal to really put those relegation alarm bells onto ES Sharks?
It's a fire emergency here for the Sharks. They're gonna have to do a lot as, yeah.
That was really well played. So Grace opened with ultimate proto belt, because if he uses the pull, Chains of Corruption comes up after the pull and he's dead. So he wanted to conserve his flash, and that is the way you do it. So well played. It looked lackadaisical because there was no Chains of Corruption thrown, but in the problem solving required to get away with the least, that was the perfect play by Grace.
Jin Air in control of this one. Only about 2,000 gold ahead, but gold's all where you want it. You want it on that Lucian, you want it on GP as well, and take a look at this. Double Cataclysm onto that bot lane, plus the Cannon Barrage. They're going to at least get the top Kench here. It's follow-up play to get another kill.
Jin Air taking down ES Sharks where they stand, and I think even Riot Games, the gods of RNG, have said, how about some Infernals to make this one a little bit more difficult to be subverted. I think Riot Games wants a 4-game series because with 3 Infernals, even if Jin Air, you know, is true to Jin Air and is a little bit crappy around the Baron, can't make it happen when they should, 3 Infernals Vladimir is impossible to mess up. How do you mess that up?
This is hard to mess up too. Tahm Kench doesn't have flash, you just flick him. And they denied the vision first to allow this play to happen, and they just easily following up on it, having the timers of the flash, and easy peasy, got their target.
Lemon Squeezy is the celebratory drink afterwards for Jin Air, which means they stay and join the 9 teams already qualified, in case you guys are joining late, or in case you guys, just coming and tuning in for the promotion tournament, not having watched LCK Spring. Firstly, we usually bet for this. And secondly, the 9 qualified teams so far, your champions, SK Telecom T1, who go on to MSI, runners-up Griffin, who are sad not to go to an international event again, but will be going to Rift Rivals. They do finally get a chance to play internationally. Amusingly, if you follow the formula, I imagine Rift Rivals is going to be in Korea, so that's not confirmed, but it was in the LMS's hands, then it was in the LPL hands, it should be in the LCK's hands this year, so a domestic international tournament's quite amusing for Griffin.
Yeah.
Kuzan snipping in there, but not finding too much more. Following down from there, we have a lot of great teams to talk about. Jarvan Gaming.
I'm gonna hold that thought as Grace says, you don't have a jungler anymore. He's gonna have to go home. But the Sharks know if they get Triple Infernal, this game is basically over anyway. Crash still gonna go home, and they have to give it away lest the 5 of them die.
We queued it up early. We'll just have the 3rd Infernal. You got it, baby. And they do. Jin Air GreenWings. From there, King Zone, Tahm 1, Sandbox, top 5. We all know who's 6th. Always Hanwha Life Esports.
Of course. Stuck
in 6th, then Genji Afrika. KT were the first team through this tournament, winning both their best of 3 and best of 5 in flawless fashion, 5-0. It hasn't been flawless from Jin Air, but they would be the 10th and final team there. Would mean that for the first time in a long time, no team promoted from the 2nd tier in the promotion tournament.
Yeah, you mentioned it before. 6 teams from Challengers came up
2 years.
2016 summer.
Yeah.
We're having another fight in the mid lane. No surprise here. Chains of Corruption do come down as Root says, get away from my support. GuGer going to use that cooldown of the Devour.
Catch is at worry of being caught more than getting a catch. Again, I saw him versus Vladimir. It was a little bit sad. Still, Grace is here, and I'm pretty sure that this dive leads to catch down.
Good question. They are going to have the Abyssal Voyage coming on in.
Okay, maybe not.
And the Root does go down. He presses away. He survives for so long in the end. Big Cataclysm. We're just trying to catch all the little fishies that got away. It looks like most of them will for now. Can Catch actually make it out of this one? Lindarang's pretty fast, but he can leap and make it through the turrets. And okay. Nicely done. It's the best he could have got from there.
Agreed. They forced out the W early from Grace. He doesn't have stasis available, so actually there was no return kill like we assumed, but I was correct. Captain Hindsight, I did say Catch would die. The execution, though, no extra gold onto Jin Air, but I think the Kha'Zix again was more of a bug spot annoyance. They push through the mid lane. Mid lane outer goes down, and those Infernals can never be removed. Watching the replay here. If he has stasis, then I think stasis, emo playing, all those things could happen. Instead, able to take down, make it much more honest, and like we mentioned, the fact that it's an execute means no local gold or team gold to the side of Jin Air GreenWings.
We're going to watch the whole escape.
I guess nothing's happening in live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the most interesting one, as he just dies. See you later, Catch. He has 1 death, but it's not for the enemy team.
Pushing through the mid lane. Root and Nova. Root is, doesn't have a build that synergizes that well with itself, given that it's a Lay the Ruin King into Infinity Edge, but this is the 2-item exquisitely expensive build that he's gone, and he doesn't care about the synergy. He's going to get enough of those passive procs off. He's going to high roll on crits at some point. By the way, I want to talk about this in a public forum.
Yeah, you're not allowed to. No. Root is on the rift as GuGer, he's going to get away this time around. And 700 gold goes into the pocket of the LeBlanc.
Now that was Root. That was Root being far too bold. What will it lose them? Getting an objective not that easy for ES Sharks, but a freebie kill. And the gold means the global gold is only 1,300 gold advantage to Jin Air GreenWings.
just the pick, but it's definitely a nice amount of gold, as we were mentioning. Bit of damage to the mid lane turret, but at the end of the day, not much else will go the way of the Sharks.
So there was that amazing game between Rogue Esports Club and Misfits Premier where the 0-10 Talia Pantheon bot lane still won the game. The reason why I'm referring to that is the enemy team got a really fast Infinity Edge on Sivir, and Sivir with only 25% crit with IE, it might have been Essence Reaver, but 25% crit, got 3 crits in a row onto the Talia that was already 0-3. It was actually disgusting. That should never happen, but that is how random number generation works. This was Lucian praying for some random number generation, instead was greeted by 4 members and just got killed.
Half of his culling hit minions too, as GuGer was able to get some nice cover there, and eventually just rooted. Not able to do that damage.
No 25% crit, 3 crits in a row.
No, not even close. As next Drake is Ocean. Nobody really cares about that one. Or Open Drake. Especially at this point in the game, 23 minutes in.
Jin Air again have the Vladimir late game win condition, so they can be their usual passive selves and not lose too much, just focus on the global gold is what they do. They're actually going to let the enemy take the Ocean Drake. It's one of those things where Sharks taking down the Ocean Drake, with what's behind it, it's just kind of another Drake stack that goes their way, but all you're really doing is kind of canceling Elder value rather than necessarily getting yourselves much. The Mountain, though, maybe they'll be strong enough in 5 or 6 minutes to fight over that one. They come up, some of their items are starting to be done, and if Root mispositions again, maybe a more fruitful team fight can be found before the scaling is truly on.
Catch down 3 levels, says, this is my jungle. Get out of here, Lindarang. Lindarang says, yes, sir. They both kind of disengage at the same time, as it was obviously closer to Jin Air.
Gonna have to be a Root giveth, and Root taketh away. Loss, given what we're anticipating with the late game, should all be there. So, scene of the crime. For any sort of mistake or for the game-winning play, the Baron is the one that they were much more proactive around in game number 3. Remember, Jin Air got that sneak Baron that ES Sharks just weren't expecting in the previous game. So given that, let's see if that can be a happy hunting ground a second time for Jin Air GreenWings.
Once again, we're kind of entering this lull state. I feel like we've had one in every game tonight. As Root, after he died, he's not going to be as exciting, but how about if GuGer is alone? They had a ward actually to spot that back, which is why they went so hard on him, so they get the flash out of the Tahm Kench.
Yeah, the Q hitting and missing is the flash being available on cooldown, because from there, obviously, Lucian can ice skate his way into rocking that passive. Chasing on to Kuzan, whose turret is still up at 25 minutes. I say still up, it's, I guess, gonna go down right.
Yeah. You were correct when you said it, but not anymore. Trading weak turrets on opposite sides of the map. Only 1,000 gold lead, but that doesn't cover the 3 internals that add so much extra gold value.
And I want to draw your attention to another line of red. All the control wards in the inventory of Jin Air. They were waiting for that last outer turret to go down before they started their vision bait. They're definitely ready for it now. It's top lane.
TP coming in. Gray's gonna land that Hemoplague just onto the one. Still has his pool, and now everybody's joining the party. Big knockup by Z's.
No one's there.
Who goes in alone, but he's gonna have his stopwatch to buy a lot of time, and GuGer doesn't have flash. Looks like they're just gonna sacrifice the Tahm Kench to Z's. This time around, not able to land that one as Light was able to flash away.
They're chasing hard.
Yeah, they really want to get on in here.
Got what you came for, Jin Air. They put down 2 control wards. That's how much they wanted to chase into that brush. They back away here. It seems like they wanted 2 kills to start a Baron, but that seems like too much, even though they ended up trading up there. Stopwatch down. Picks have been generously picked up by Jin Air, but actually moving forward, the game state seems impossible right now.
It was about as close as it was gonna get, right? Try to bait them into a fight of sorts. I mean, Sharks basically baited themselves in with that one, with the TP and the Abyssal Voyage, thinking that they have enough and more map presence to go for a play like that, but not quite.
Actually really well played by Grace that time. Held on to his pull to right at the end, and then it seemed a bit foolhardy to go as hard as Cease did, but he's got stasis, he can be tanky. If you think about when to pull, remember tethers apply during pulls, you can't pull yet. Use the Emo Plague, and then finally, when real damage is coming away, he does that, Cease's re-engage. It's never going to kill anyone because it takes a long time for the team to regroup, but GuGer still doesn't have the flash. He hates the fact that previous chair shot has kept him down. It's not a chair shot, it was more of a furnace shot, I guess, from this Braum skill.
Fireplace.
Yeah.
Coming on in. And it was just a really smart play by Cease. I mean, he gets the knock-up on Akali, makes sure that Grace lives, and then he traps in the Tahm Kench, which they know has no flash. So, once again, continuing to be the MVP of this series.
Gold lead not growing. 3 Infernals mean this number and the absolute values you see in the top left, plus 2431, negative 2431, are misleading, given that Vladimir is the god of scaling with Infernal, as we all know. In case you're unaware, his passive does have AP health scaling, so the more AP gives him more health, and he's double scaling all day.
Lindarang trying to stand up to him, has a Maw to help out with that one alongside, actually, not Merc Treads, but Ninja Tabi. And we're doing this again. They both don't have flash this time around, and that's a sad Sir Thomas Kench, as he's going to die again.
Do we call LS or the WWF when it comes to talking about this particular level of extinction? Because the Tahm Kench species is definitely going to be on River of Sadness in this game. He's just dying on sight every moment.
Oh, hello!
Another extinct bug.
I like the crits to the face. That felt real good. Well, that's why you go this build.
We got the bug splat again on that particular one. So our suspicion of the Kha'Zix from behind being confirmed. Now Jin Air have a lot of different things. They got a Mountain Drake, 3 Infernals, a Baron. What can the Sharks do?
Chains of Corruption, just trying to survive. You don't have a Tahm Kench this time, you poor Varus. And I've never seen someone more dead. As another pick comes down, in goes Jisu. They're gonna knock him up again into double knockup. This guy is doing nothing in his shroud, has to flash away. They say, thank you very much, we'll take the Baron.
Now, catches respawn. Can they do anything over the wall? The answer's no.
Oh, man.
I stopped my point very much.
How about LeBlanc? Nope, a little bit too late on that one. Kuzan takes a bit of damage, and that is a very free Baron to go the way of Jin Air.
I was pronouncing normally, and very quickly I aborted my statement when I saw the health bar of the Baron just explode.
I mean, Lucian does insane things.
Watch root here. Let's watch his mechanics. That was pretty good.
Triple crit, rather.
It was a triple crit, and he also canceled his orders perfectly, so that was just sick.
Yeah, you know, the guy knows how to play Lucian, right? He's 0 and 9 on it, as people were memeing when it did come up, I'm sure. But the guy knows his stuff. I think it's his most played down at the bottom side. So, got to give him the credit where it's due. Is carrying his team pretty well once again.
And that carry is definitely knocking on the door of breaking the base and breaking the spirits of ES Sharks. We'll take a mistake from here. Now, Jin Air have made those, but they are very, very far ahead. As long as Root lives, surely the good times are coming to Jin Air GreenWings. The Glad Plane, it's ready to be posted, Valdez.
You got it at the ready, Papa?
Not quite yet, but I'm thinking about it.
Gotta type up that tweet.
It's a long one.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. As push comes in, and down goes the turret. You can see they're just at a loss of how to stop this team. There's still 2 minutes of Baron. Kuzan's like, can I do anything? Root says no.
They have never missed out on an LCK split. This is them. Really champions-elect of this tournament. Here we go, though.
Chains of Corruption come in. And you can see that Akali ult, I believe, was used, actually, to try to get him in range.
Second half he used, like you mentioned, it's a good catch, Valdez. Behemoth Blake down.
Kuzan just desperate, you know, trying to clear out waves, trying to do chip damage, but this inhibitor is 100% going down, no question. The real question is, what else can Jin Air get? They got a massive wave down in the bot lane that LeBlanc's trying to clear.
In a turret for sure will die. Anything further will be a little bit less likely. You lose the cannon, but that wasn't going to tank up the turret anyway, so we broke up. Shark's really going to try something here. This is not usually where you make your last stand.
Doing a bit of damage to Lindarang, but he just shows him his cannon barrage and says, hey, do you like this? And here comes Jisu. Yeah, they're really trying to make this work here. Trying to get into that backline once again with the Shroud access. Just too much damage and the Devour is going to get him out. So the inner turret goes down, as you mentioned. Nothing else.
I think 2 fully charged Tides of Blood kills Akali. That's how strong the Vladimir is already, and he was able to go for a defensive Vladimir build because he had so much ability power for free. He could match the lane assignments. You almost never see a Banshee Veil and a Zhonya's on a Vladimir, but he wanted to side lane against Akali LeBlanc, so went the magic resist, the Zhonya's for team fighting, and he's keeping up his AP. Jin Air got all of those Infernal Drakes. Like we said, feels like Riot's gift to ensure that even if you're not 100% on point with closing out the game at the right timestamps, the baby's version is with the Inferno.
I like how the one Drake that the Sharks had a chance at was the Ocean. Everything else is 3 Infernals and 2 Mountains, as if they need more damage to objectives.
You know what I want someone to do? Photoshop in a Shark and make the Ocean Drake look like a tear, single tear from the Shark. Just prop the logo in there. Yeah. You guys know what you're doing. This is definitely the game state there. Sad times for the Sharks. The lore Drakes, we'll call them.
It's good they have some regen when the push comes in, so that's helping them out a lot. Obviously, no Infernals for them to take, as they were thinking about contesting the 3rd one, but that was quickly shut down because Crash got Hemoblamed. That was the end of that one. Kuzan trying to get into the backline, but Z's is actually really tanky already. And if Jisu goes near them, he nearly dies.
A tale of woe for the ES Sharks. Seems very likely they'll be back in town, but not right now on this push. They're still looking for a flank. I don't know what Catch's gonna do. That's what he's doing.
It's gonna slow them. He's a really sad Kha'Zix. I mean, this is one of those ones we were talking about where he's essentially done nothing. And it's not sad Gragas bowling, but you do just sit there and slow people in.
Hey, he's pretty good at sitting over the wall on the red side defending Baron with his stuff.
Yeah.
He can do sad Gragas bowling better than you would assume.
Sad Kha'Zix, please.
Well, how about a second Mountain Drake? Root started this game 0-9. And it will be a welcome first victory on the Lucian. I think everyone can separate the player and the record for Jin Air. It's why we stopped talking about win-loss records on Jin Air players, because it's just sad.
Yeah, but, you know, Riot put it up on the screen. Had to mention it. And I kind of feel a rumbling beneath my feet. I feel like something's about to take off here. Could be the Glad plane, I'm not sure.
It could be some Sharks on a plane, though, Valdez, because, yes, everything suggests Jin Air wins, but it's not a we can run at them 3 times with a massive gold lead level of lead. It's just a really big lead. So it's going to take 2 stuffed-up team fights that don't seem likely, but it's definitely not over until then.
Well, there's one way to do it. You can always face check. Somebody has to do it if you have any plans of contesting at the Baron, of course. As Nova looking for some more action. Kench just going to hop away, and they decide they don't even need the Baron just yet. Take the turn first and go from there.
Well, this would be the 3rd inhibitor, the death knell for the ES Sharks tutorial victory for Jin Air. What appears to be their re-promotion game to the LCK. Kuzan's flanks on flanks. He's just saying hello.
Teams in Corruption is just like, please don't attack me. I'm not ready to fight. I would not like to fight here. Yes. Kuzan and Kench, they're both just sad. Okay, we have one last ditch effort. TP coming on in from Jisu. And actually, Grace is quite low. This might be the best that it gets here. Shuriken is going to land, but that backline light is going to... Root is actually just going to kill him immediately. Double kill goes down, and Root is safe the entire time. Nothing that the Sharks can do on this push. It was their last-ditch effort. It looks like we figured out that Jin Air is taking off on their GladPlank.
Exactly. Finally, a takeoff. Their third series victory of 2019. This is the big one, though. This gets them back to the LCK. No relegations, only re-promotions. Jin Air GreenWings will play in LCK Summer 2019.
Big smiles on all the players' faces. They've made it through. As the coaches immediately come out, big hugs all around. It was a hard road. They had to go all the way to the final match. They got 3-0'd by KT in unbelievably fast fashion. So they had to play this last match. It was a little bit scary in the last one, but these guys absolutely the better team and deserve 100% to be back with us in the LCK.
And again, it's a sad day, of course, with League of Legends Korean news, hearing about Prey's retirement. Were we really ready to lose one of the original orgs from the LCK as well? We will not have the double tiers today. Sad day for the ES Sharks, who weren't able to back up their great play in the Challengers Korea circuit with an impressive performance in this tournament. They were the third best team, I think, on the Rift, and therefore they will not be coming to LCK Summer. Get to see Jin Air again. Jin Air and KT retain their spot, and for once, you know, for the first time in 2.5 years, it does feel like Challengers Korea, the amount of talent that's spilled over to LCK means LCK for now on a comfortably better level.
Certainly does feel that way. Obviously, there's one sad man in the mid lane, Kuzan, and the rest of his team. They tried hard. Kuzan had that one big carry game on the Lucian in Game 3, but it's not enough. They're not good enough to make it in this time.
Wouldn't it be fitting, though, if we let bygones be bygones? I think Kuzan to Jin Air would be a nice move. I think Kuzan is a strong mid laner and would be competitive, at least as competition for Grace, and may even be starting. So we don't know if this is a permanent goodbye, a short goodbye, or a very short-lived goodbye for Kuzan, but given his great performance in Challengers Korea and a pretty good series, all things considered, hopefully it's not the last for Kuzan. ES Sharks have some good talent, but as a 5, not good enough on this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see also if any of the other players from the teams, and even Jisu, he can find a place, but take a look at all the Jin Air players. Definitely a good series for them. They've only lost the one game to the Sharks. Overall, they're 5-1 since the beginning of this tournament, but that man that just passed right before C's is absolutely my MVP of this series. Guy showed he can play some really nice, aggressive, early game jungling and essentially get the game on his terms.
I look at Jin Air and say, Lindarang, decent role player. Grace, I think he struggles too much, but kind of in the Lindarang bucket. But now you have Root and C's, who you're like, I want to see more of these guys. Yeah. I wonder what their ceilings are. And their support pool is fine. So if we have 3 decent players and 2 players only getting better, does that mean they instantly jump up the ladder? Almost certainly not.
Yeah.
Does that mean they have a better summer than spring? Almost certainly yes. It's really hard to do worse, but this is not some backhanded compliment. I really do think that Jin Air have some talent on their roster. They just never really got it all together. They got it together real early in game number 4.
Absolutely. All over this bottom lane. Nova, twice in a row, goes down for 2 very well executed dives, though. Did the right thing, sacrificed his life. And, I mean, C's is going to be part of every single highlight you see, basically. He's here, predicts the flash forward. He's like, nah, I'm here to protect my friend. Comes here for the gank, knows there's no flash on the top Kench. This guy is just everywhere.
Well, a feel-good ending for the LCK fans. The GladPlank riding high. Congratulations to Jin Air. Again, we lost Prey, and that was sad. Lose a Korean Mount Rushmore level player. But could it be LCK without Jin Air is something, you know, the mortality of Jin Air has been something we've had to deal with this season, last season, never more so than this season. But they will remain immortal. They will stay in the LCK for at least one more season.
It's well-deserved. Challengers, unfortunately, not able to provide us with much of a challenge, to be honest. I mean, the closest series that we had was the 2 challenger teams, actually, the Sharks and DSG. But outside of that, it's just Root Z's dunking on your team over and over again. Doesn't feel too good. Makes me wonder what would have happened if APK Prince made it up. I feel like maybe that would have been a team that would have made things a bit more interesting between themselves.
It would have definitely been more action. Now, would they have got promoted or not? Hard to say, but there would have been more action. And honestly, we did feel a bit robbed not seeing KT versus APK Prince, because Kakao, against his old org, would have been a fun one.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of crits in this game, 31,000 worth of them down there for Root, who had a lot of gold, did an insane amount of damage, and just well-deserved all around. Good play, I have to say, but we'll have to see just how many games Jin Air can win when they do make it back to LCK, because against KT, the number 9 team, they got smothered.
I'm going to go with what you said when we get back to LCK, because it's a while, Valdez. We're sitting here, and this will be the rollout with an interview, and then another goodbye from your Papa and Valdez for a long while. It seems like sometime in June is the expected restart time of the LCK. It's hard to say exactly, because last year, if you remember, we had the kind of longer break than 6-game weeks because of Asia games. The schedule, I'm hoping, will be publicized by Casper or Riot before too long, but June sometime is the return. MSI, that's the month of the mid-season invitational, so there will be a Korean League of Legends team, but Korean League of Legends has its own luster, its own awesomeness, so it'll be a while till we get to join you in this same venue, the LOL Park that we enjoy so much, and discuss LOL States, Thomas Kenches, and AA Trucks. It's going to be a while before then, but let's give the floor to Jin Air, because we haven't heard from them anywhere near enough, and for some of these players, it's the first time.
Yeah, and they're all ready to go, guys, so I'm going to hand it over to Jisun. She's going to help out with the translation, and we're going to get to hear their thoughts going into the next season of LCK. Any determinations, as they like to call them. Can they get more than one win? That would be fantastic as well. Let's hear from them and see what they have to say.
진에어가 3대1 승리로 잔류에 성공했습니다. 오늘
the last
선수들과
interview
감독님 모두
translation
함께
for the
이야기 나눠볼게요.
spring split, and we're going to be
안녕하세요.
hearing from all the squads from Jin Air GreenWings, including the head coach Han Sang-yong.
자, 일단 승리 다시 한번 정말
Congratulations.
축하드립니다. 저희 박수 한번 치고 시작할게요.
Let's give them a warm round of applause for
마음껏
Jin
쳐도
Air.
될 것 같아요. 야, 선수들도 감독님도 정말 기쁘고 또 팬분들도
It's going to be a very celebrative moment for all the players and head coach. So, moving on to H-Dragon, how do you feel about today's win? It was really hard and a lot of struggles. Well, during the preparation, you know, a lot of teams were having a break and vacation, but we were always in the gaming house preparation. So I just want to, you know, appreciate all the players for doing such a hard work, even after the split. Just like you mentioned, you know, this game was not that easy at all. So did you keep your faith in them? Well, I did expect a 3-1 score. Well, because our players were showing some of the mistakes they made in the practice games, but I'm okay with the mistakes, but I was worried about their mentalities, but they were actually very strong, so it was really good to see them performing well till the end of the game. Especially in Game 3, Grace was making a lot of very doubtable plays, but I mean, I always trust in Grace. I knew that he's gonna take down Kuzan, so I just kept my faith in him.
스프링 돌아보면 좀 아쉬운
So
장면들이
in
있을 것
stroke,
같아요. 이제 모두 이겨내고
speaking of
서머를
spring
다시
split,
임하셔야 될
it
텐데
was not that
서머
easy.
어떻게
So
준비하실
how are you gonna
생각인가요?
prepare for the
일단
summer
저희가
split?
너무 안 좋은 성적을
You know, we had a very bad result to the fans. I'm really sorry. And also to Jin Air. However, despite our bad results, there were a lot of support from our fans, and we were the lowest team of the LCK, but we saw a lot of fans still supporting us on the internet, giving us support and also gifts. So that was really the biggest driving force of all the players and head coaches. And so I just want to make sure to come back with improved performance and maybe try not to go down to the relegations.
멋진 경기력 기대해 보도록 하겠습니다. 자, 그리고 린다랑 선수.
And let's hear from Lindarang.
전에서 최고의 주역이 아니었을까 싶어요.
You were
황다랑이가
one of the biggest player
이 2주 동안
of the
경기력을 끌어올린
promotion
비결은
series.
뭔가요?
How were you able to step up during 2 weeks of preparation?
올라오고 싶은 마음이 그냥 간절해서
I thought
다 같이 열심히
that
하기
I
위해서
just really wanted to
네, 그만큼
stay in
의지가
LCK, and
강했다고
that
보여줄 수
was the
있겠죠.
biggest
팀원들과
power for me to
호흡은 어떻게
perform well.
맞추셨어요, 쉬는 동안?
호흡은
And speaking of teamwork, well, it's a team game, you know. So we just wanted to like everyone just try their best to just like help out each other. Well, today you guys were facing up against a team that you actually have information about, you know. It was a rematch. So was that helpful? Yeah, we had the experience of taking them down, so that was a little bit helpful for our confidence. So how did you prepare for the draft? Especially about the top lane. Well, I had to go with a lot of blind picks, so I just wanted to be going with some safe picks. So Lindarang, what are your thoughts about going into the summer split in LCK? Well, during the spring split, we had a very bad result and also very bad performance. However, right now we're doing our best to get back to our form, so I'll just make sure to show the best performance that we can in the summer split. Then let's hear from Seeds. Well, the head coach of ESS says that you are the players to watch in Jin Air. Was that aware of that fact? Not really. So how was the jungle competition up against Catch? How was your jungling path? I just followed my body. No reason.
몸이 가는 대로, 마음이 가는 대로 아주 좋은 경기 보여주셨습니다. 스프링 후반부터 사실 시즌 선수 투입 후에 굉장히 진에어가 긍정적으로 변했다 이런 말들이 있더라고요. 실제로 본인의 플레이가 공격적인 성향에 잘 맞는다고
Are you the type of player that connects well with the aggressive plays? Well, if fans say so, I have to agree. Well, I mean, Seeds is a really fun guy, but he's a little bit nervous on stage.
승리 소감 들어볼게요.
Seeds, how do you feel about today's win? Well, I'm happy. I'm a little bit worried for the summer split, but I'm really happy that I survived. You look extremely happy, Seeds. So how are you going to prepare for the summer split? You are the key player of Jin Air being aggressive and maybe coming back to its original form. Well, this time, we're going to make it to 2 wins. You know, we only got 1 victory in the spring split, you know? That's my new goal. Well, something is out of, Seeds is out of his mind, says Coach Han.
네, 시즈 선수의 더 좋은 경기력 기대하겠습니다. 네.
Thank you very much
기대해봐도 되겠죠, 시즈
I'm
선수?
looking forward to your improved performance.
네.
Well, that was a very bad answer.
2승을 넘어서
I admit it.
더 많은 승.
Starting from 2 wins, you're going to make it to 3 and 4, right?
지금 많이 위축돼 있으신가 봐요. 네, 서머 때는 더 좋은 경기력으로 더 높은 승리 유지하시길 기대하겠습니다. 자, 그레이스 선수 얘기 나눠볼게요. 그레이스 선수도 마찬가지로 승강전에서 굉장히 물오른 경기력 보여주셨는데요. 오늘은 스스로 어떻게 평가하시나요?
stepped up performance during the promotions.
잘 모르겠고.
Well, I'm not sure whether I performed well. I won't get to look killed. I'm sorry.
네. 아무래도 또 최종전인 만큼 선수들이 완벽한 경기를 보여주고 싶었던 욕심 때문에 제가 아쉬운 장면들이 많이 생각이 나시는 것 같은데 자, 그레이스 선수 오늘 Kuzan 선수 또 만났잖아요. 지난번 경기에서 사실상 뭐 그렇게 어려운 점이 없었다라고 얘기를 하셨는데 오늘 라인전 어떠셨나요?
That much challenging, to be honest.
좀 힘들었는데.
Well, as you could see, it was a little bit struggling. But I got carried by my teammates.
저는 힘들었던 장면보다 더 잘하셨던 장면이 생각이
Well,
많이 나요.
there were a lot of outplays as well.
아쉽네요. 네.
I was bad.
자, 그레이스 선수도 서머 가고 들어볼게요.
How are we going to prepare for the summer split?
제가 한번 처음 이제 승강전을 겪어보니까
This is my first experience in the promotions, so I was able to feel a bit of a relief, but I just want to make sure to never ever come back to here again. I really don't want to.
다시는 이 자리에서 뵙지 않았으면 좋겠습니다. 오늘 정말 고생하셨고요. 자, 루트 선수 얘기 나눠볼게요. 오늘 특히 바텀 듀오의 합이 정말 좋았어요.
Well, the teamwork between the bot laners was awesome. How was today's game?
오늘 경기
Today,
솔직히
to be honest,
합이 좋은 것 같진 않고
I'm not sure whether we had a very perfect teamwork or synergy. Well, just
이제는 정글이 잘 붙어져가지고.
Our jungler were doing so well. He was playing around a lot in the bot lane.
돌리는 모습이고요. 오늘 노바 선수는 어떠세요?
What about you, Nova?
일단 최근에
recently,
테디 선수가 인터뷰한 건가?
I saw Teddy's interview saying that.
승강전을 갔을 때 소감을.
Speaking of the promotions.
지면 자기 내 인생이
well, he
끝난다는
said,
그런 걸 봤어요.
if you lose, my life ends.
하는데 진짜 지면 오늘 지면 인생이 끝날 수도
that
있다는
was the
압박감이
mindset that I had in mind today.
그 압박감을
So I felt a lot of pressure, so it was really hard to overcome that kind of pressure. And I also don't want to come back to the promotion series never ever again.
자, 루트 선수 이제 서머 어떻게 준비하실 생각이신가요?
How are you going to prepare for the summer split?
서머에는
Well, in the summer split,
아니라
well, we're just going to pick up as many victories as we can and never
come
back to the relegation.
응원하도록 하겠습니다. 자, 노바 선수도 스프링 때 아쉬웠던 점 보완을 하셔야 될 텐데 어떻게 준비하실 생각인가요?
How are you going to prepare for the summer split?
솔직히 제가
well, to be honest,
작년에도 그렇고 올해도 그렇고
last year and
좋은
this
모습을
year,
많이 못 보여드린 것 같아서
I wasn't
죄송스럽게
really
생각하고
performing
있고요.
well. So
항상
I'm really sorry for my
발전하기 위해서
fans,
팀적으로나
but
개인적으로나
me and all my teammates are working out so hard to show evolved performance to the fans.
한마디 되나요? 일단 저희 승강전 준비하면서
And during our prep,
팀들이 많이 도와줬거든요.
a lot of teams were helping us out, even though they were on a vacation. For example, Hana Life Esports, Tahm Gaming, and also MVP, and also other teams that shared so many advice for us, and also our families. So I just want to say thank you for everybody.
노바 선수의 멋진 말씀까지
That
잘
was a great word from
들어봤습니다.
Nova.
감독님 쭉 얘기를 들어보니까 선수분들께서
Here for all the
마음고생이 진짜
players, I
심하셨나 봐요.
can
감독님도
see
마찬가지일
that a lot of
텐데 이제
players
마지막으로
were having a hard
팬분들께
time.
감사
So,
인사
lastly,
드리고
is there a message for the
인사
fans
끝내도록
you would like to say?
팬 여러분 진심으로 감사드립니다. 썸머 때 좋은
Sincerely
모습으로
thank you all the
돌아왔습니다.
fans.
감사합니다.
We'll be back with improved performance for the summer split. Thank you.
자, 진에어 잔류 다시 한번 축하드리고요.
Once
저희
again,
썸머 때
congratulations
뵙도록
to Jin
하겠습니다.
Air, and
인터뷰
this will be the end
감사합니다.
of the interview with Kuzan and also the whole Jin Air players.
중계상 연결할게요.
I'm going to pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you, Jisun, for that wonderful translation. They weren't super, they weren't speaking all that much, but it was good to hear from them saying, hey, we're going to do better than the last time, as you mentioned. It's kind of hard not to, but I'm really looking forward to a Jin Air with a jungler that's looking really good. Root is slowly getting into form, and seeing what they could do, and even if they could avoid relegation, that's a big win in my mind.
And as it is our last broadcast, a personal thank you, and I'm sure also a stream, and Brendan Valdez, thank you to Jisun for all the translation over the course of the spring split. It's been a good run. We definitely had a good run of shows over here. First ever split at Lowell Park by Riot Games is complete. We know the winners, we know the losers. We don't know how the story ends, and Worlds is the end. For every story, the Worlds implications are going to be palpable in summer. Worlds implications for Jin Air, unlikely, but like you say, at least they have goals. They want to shoot for 7th, 8th. They want to shoot for getting out of relegation in the summer season. And if they continue to grow, both as a team, and you saw some kind of like sheepish faces about, well, didn't really feel like we had the synergy going. You need to win games to actually feel bold enough to talk about those synergies. So some work will need to be done for Jin Air, but there's a base of players there, and I wonder if there'll be any changes, because it doesn't mean the same 10-man roster has to be brought back.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for Jin Air going into the next one. Also excited to see what KT can do if, they looked really great in this summer promotion tournament, not dropping a single game, but I think that most people were expecting that to begin with. Just dunking on VSG and Jin Air, but it's been a nice little tournament we had here. 4 days, and we finally got to see
Atlas and LS for all their contributions this split as well.
We've had a long split, and I'm sure we'll be back here once again in June, as you mentioned, eventually. So thank you guys for sticking with us through thick and thin and all the fun times we've had here for spring. It's really been an absolute blast so far with all the guys that we have here on the team.
And MSI starts up before too long, so a competitive league fix, that's coming soon. Best of luck to SKT. It's a stacked field.
It's going to be pretty massive. Obviously, IG winning today, as we heard that clean 3-0. I'd have to feel that SKT and IG probably up on top as the favorites, but we'll have to wait and see, guys. Make sure to watch that. Thank you once again for watching, and we'll see you next time here at LCK.
gasoline that makes my dream come true. 'Cause this is the beginning.